Welcome everybody to the Career Exploration Foundational Lab. So I'm going to be talking into this mic for the recording. It's not actually projecting my voice, so it's a little weird. That's fine. So my name is Taylor Varaca. I'm the peer advisor manager at the Career Center. So I trained and I work with peer advisors who review your resumes, cover letters, among other things. It can also help you with things like Focus 2, which we'll be talking about today, and Handshake. So this is my colleague, Lauren Barrett. She is the career coach for the Health Sciences Academy, and she's also my direct supervisor. So big moment for me. All right. So before we get started, I was hoping we might take some time to introduce ourselves to each other. We've got a nice group here. So if you don't mind saying your name, your major, what you're hoping to get out of this, that might be a great way to start. So Daniel. Excellent. Hi, welcome. Okay, great. All right, awesome.
I'm Danny, I'm a sophomore at BE, and I'm here to find some summer internship and figure out what I want.
Great.
I'm being a freshman, I'm a biostat major. Just here to figure out exactly what I want to major in.
Awesome.
Hello, I'm Lee, majoring in physics. I'm a senior and I'm trying to figure out what I can do outside of academia.
Great.
My name is Ashwa. I'm a sophomore economics major, and I'm just here to see resources.
My name is Nana. I'm a sophomore studying international studies and French, and I'm here so that I can see where broad major
Okay, and I'll go again because I'm also a student. I'm a senior. I'm studying film and media studies and international studies. And I am a little bit farther along with this, but I'm here to help you guys figure out what you're going to do. So, all right, so you guys all have a handout in front of you. If you want to just take a look at that, you can, it's not too long. It's just a checkbox. So if you guys want to fill it out, could you grab me one? I meant to keep mine, but I didn't. And then we can go through some of those answers, and then we'll go through some other Focus 2 stuff. So I'm not going to be collecting these or anything. This is just for you to kind of figure out exactly where you think you want to do the most career exploration, what you've already done, and kind of how you're feeling about it. So hopefully by the end of this, you'll have an even better idea of how to get where you want to be in all of these categories. There's a back. Yeah, it's all the same. Just a few minutes. It's not a super intense survey. You don't have to think too deeply about it. And again, this is just for you. So if you don't want to even finish it right now, that's okay. All right, we'll give you guys a couple more minutes. So just to get started a little bit here, out of curiosity, how many of you checked off great extent for any of these on the first page and the back page? Or no help needed? How many of you checked off something for that? Yeah, I mean, that's great. And how many of you a moderate degree? You have a bunch of those. Who's got more than one? And how many of you have slight extent or not at all? Yeah, great. Even I have a couple of those looking at this. I'm like, yeah, I could use some more knowledge about some of this stuff. So this is just for you to see like not only where you're at, but also everyone is in some similar position. It might not be about the same category on here, but you know, we all need improvement in some areas, and it's a continuous lifelong process of exploration and planning of career and educational goals compatible with your interests, values, talents, personality, and aspirations. And those are some super important things that we're going to keep coming back to today to really help you guys figure out where you want to go or what your starting point is going to be. So next slide. All right, so self-assessment goals, clarifying and brainstorming. Your work interests, values, skills, competencies, strengths, preferences, personality type, and leisure time interests. So these are all things that you want to start thinking about that are personal to yourself, that are going to influence your career decisions. So what kind of work are you actually interested in doing? What are your values, whether they be personal, in the workplace? What do you think is the most important to you? You have skills and competencies and strengths already, so think about what those are, and also think about what skills you want to gain and how they might fit into possible work interests. Then also preferences. What do you want? What do you prefer? What is going to be the best situation for you personally? Personality type. Everyone, have you guys heard of like Myers-Briggs and things like that? Taken some sort of personality assessment. Those are always fun. I enjoy those. So you guys are going to enjoy what's coming up next if you like those like I do. So that's always interesting to see how that might fit into a potential career. And then leisure time interests. This might not be something that you think about when you're thinking of careers, but what if you could just have a career of doing something that you enjoy in your leisure time? So you kind of want to think of all of these different things. And that is what Focus 2 helps you do. So we're going to go to this in a minute. If you have your laptops out and you want to actually go to Focus 2, I can pull it up on here for you and show you how to get to it. So we have it on Handshake. So this is what our Handshake accounts look like if you haven't been there recently. So you just go to Career Center, click on Resources, and then this first one on the right here, Explore Your Career Interests. Focus 2 is going to be the first one. So you just click on that. Mine, I'm already actually logged in over here, but you just get to it right through here and you have your own login and password information. So if you haven't logged into Focus 2 before, you can go ahead now. If you just want to follow along with me on here, that's fine. I'm just going to take you through basically, oh, yes.
If you've never signed in before, do you need to create a new one? Or
You should have, it should be linked to your Hopkins ID. But I'll take you through all of these that you see up here. Okay. So mine is already completely filled out. I did this over the summer when we first got it. But for the it's totally fine for the purpose of our, yes. Okay, I'll just go through that real quick. So you click on Career Center and Handshake, click on Resources, and then explore your career interests. And then Focus 2 is the very first link right at the top. Got it? Awesome. Okay. Do you have to create your own password?
well, I don't know, but I've tried putting in my email, like my JED and my password and stuff.
Okay.
But I'll just
Try register because the email should be in the system, but
just your JED or your full email address.
interesting.
Yeah, it's not letting me log in.
All right.
To register?
Yeah, let's see. Oh, okay. That's a little bit different from, oh, sorry.
No, they should auto.
So if you would like to do this now, I'll give you a couple minutes to go ahead and do so. Yeah, otherwise I will have it up on the screen and I'll go through everything. But just give me a wave when you're ready to go. And I'll go back to this. Oh, welcome. If you would like to, you can.
And graduate student researcher postdoctoral fellow Johns Hopkins. कळले का? So ताजे आसा पळय सगळं profile हांगा. You can send. What's the worst that will happen? He won't forward it. Okay, now. कळलं LinkedIn चेर आसा.
I'm not really sure what's going on.
Can you type to him and just say,
While I'm doing this, please. Focus 2, sign up.
We start with a self-assessment.
You don't have to do it right now. I'm gonna take you through everything and what it means. So if you, yeah, but.
I registered.
Okay, great. Are you guys all on or?
He went away. I think maybe
Okay.
he logged into the wrong.
All right. And we're back on track. All right. So Focus 2. Oh, yes. What? Okay. Now I'm going to minimize it. Oh, it doesn't want me to, it won't let me share the,
If you go back to the expanded one, click resume share again, and then expand that one.
does it have it? No, but it's, no. Okay, so work interest assessment. So like I said, mine's already filled out. So this is basically, you're looking at all of these and you're thinking to yourself, what if I had to do this for a living? Would I enjoy this? For me, I would not enjoy analyzing and evaluating a company's financial statement. That's just not within my wheelhouse. I think I would probably find it boring, but that's just me. Like that, if you enjoy that, that's fantastic. So it's totally personal to you. I would definitely enjoy working in a national park to preserve its forests, wildlife, and natural features. I enjoy the outdoors, so that's something I'm interested in. And so there's a bunch of these, and you'll continue through all of them. Like, I would definitely enjoy writing a review about a theatrical performance for a newspaper. That'd be super cool. Continue, 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 continue. When you finish, it brings you to this page. So it gives you your results with these different categories. So my top 3 are artistic, enterprising, and social. So that's the creators, the persuaders, and the helpers. So it'll give you a little bit of a description of each of these categories so you can see what might align with you, why I'm not at all conventional, you know, things like that. So when you continue after that, it'll give you some occupations matching your results. So it'll be in alphabetical order. It's not necessarily the one that will be most pertinent to you first because it's alphabetical order, but you can go through all of these and even click on some of them and you'll see like supporting majors that we have in the job family, even the national median salary, but that's, you know, it's just an average or median. So it's, you know, ironically, my career aspiration is that I would like to be an actress. And that is my plan after graduation. So you see, there's definitely some level of accuracy here. This is pretty cool. All right, so once you're done with that, you can go home and do your values assessment. So this one's pretty short. It's just selecting your top 3 values from the choices below, which is kind of a hard decision, honestly, because there's a bunch of choices here. My top 3 are creativity, independence, and prestige. And your top 3 might be tangible results, working outdoors, and risk-taking. Why not? Totally personal to you. And that doesn't mean that I don't identify with many of these values besides these 3, but these are probably the 3 that I think I value the most. So you'll continue and then you'll get more results again about some potential jobs that match all 3 of the values that you've suggested. So my first one is anthropologist. Again, it's in alphabetical order, so you want to scroll down through all of them. But this is interesting because I never considered anthropology before. I you know, it just never crossed my mind. But you know, looking at it, thinking about it, you know, I'm also an international studies major. I took political science. I'm interested in languages and different cultures and countries. That is definitely something I'd be interested in. It's pretty cool. So it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to identify with every single result that's on here, but it's nice because it gives you some ideas that you might not have considered before. So then let's go to personality assessment, which is generally everyone's favorite. Although I think all of these measure some aspects of your personality, which makes them all fun. So this will be pretty similar to like a Myers-Briggs type, where you'll choose the response you most agree with. So for my first one, at a crowded social party, what are you more likely to do? So I chose talk and stay with a group of friends. That's what I'm more likely to do. That doesn't mean I would never circulate, meet, and talk with lots of people. I definitely would in some situations, but I'm probably most likely to stay with the people that I came with. And so that's what I chose. But just because you choose one doesn't mean like you're like, oh, I can't identify with the other at all. And there'll be many questions that go along the same lines as others that you've already encountered. So that should actually balance that out. So if you do have some measure of openness and wanting to talk to people at parties, that'll come across in another question. So you'll go through all of these. Continue, 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 finish. Okay, so you'll get your first results. It'll tell you a little bit about your personality type and then how that aligns with your career. So for me, people with my personality type are attracted to occupations that require cooperation and teamwork, which I definitely enjoy. That's part of the job that I do now for the Career Center. I love working with not only the peer advisors, but all the staff, the other student staff. It's a great time. And examples of such occupations that match my personality type are found in the fields of teaching, counseling, health sciences, psychology, arts, and literature, And I'm interested in the arts and literature. I like reading and writing. I want to be an actor. And right now I kind of work in counseling in a lower level situation. So, yeah. All right, so you'll continue. And this is where, again, you'll see the occupations matching your results. And look, actor, actress, right at the top. It's in alphabetical order again, but still pretty cool to see, considering that's what I want to do. And you can scroll down. All right. So then we go to skills. And so again, this is a pretty difficult one. It's actually kind of harder for me, I think, than the values, because you can only choose 3 from all of these choices. And you might say, well, there's 3 skills that I think I'm better at than others, but it's really close. You just have to try to make the best decision. And this can definitely change over time. Great thing about Focus 2 is you can go through this multiple times. Like, I could change my answers right now from what I've already chosen, and we could see different results from what I already saw. So you can do that at any point. And actually, we definitely encourage you to go through multiple Focus 2 assessments, just so you can see over time, if you feel anything has changed, and based on your experiences, just go in and see what it shows you. Okay, so based on these 3, I don't have any occupations to match all 3 of these skills, but that's okay. It's not as if I haven't already gotten some pretty great results. And here's some matching 2 that I picked. So manager, that makes sense based on what I put and what my current job is. Compensation administrator, I don't know what that is, but it sounds pretty cool. So I might want to check that out. And it'll just give you lots of great things that you might not have thought of before, which is what I really like. It's a nice way to explore. So finally, leisure assessment. It's very similar to the work assessment, in which you just rate these activities and what you enjoy doing. So if you just click through, you get these top results, which is not as clear as some of the other one, which one I am, but sharing, aesthetic, reality are my top 3, and it'll go through again what these are. And then based on this, you'll see some more possible jobs. So these are the ones that match my results the best. And then here's some additional ones that match in a similar way. All right, so you've gone through all of those. You filled them out to the best of your ability. You're feeling pretty good. You've got some really interesting jobs that you've seen. Now you can combine the assessments. So what does that mean? You choose any or all, at least 2, and up to 5, all 5, to combine. And it'll give you, so let's do like my skills and personality, or no, let's do work, interest, and personality. So I'm combining those 2. So I have 10 occupations that appear in 2 of the assessments that I've completed. Click on that. So here they are, actor, actress, look at that. Isn't that great how that keeps reappearing? And that's what I want to do. I love it. It's a sign. So, and then here's some other things like copywriter, editor. I do really enjoy writing. So, it makes me feel pretty good. I might be on the right track. So you can do that with just play around with it and see all the different options. So now, once you've found all of these, start clicking on the occupation so you can learn about them. So this is the occupation overview. So it'll give you a little bit more, a little bit of a sense of exactly what the occupation is if you didn't know already. And you haven't heard of like some of the results. I hadn't heard of that. I don't know what that is. So that'll give you a little bit of a taste and see if you're interested. But you should definitely read through all this, because job tasks, that's going to be super important. How does that line up with the work interests that you chose? Like, are these tasks something that you would actually find enjoyable? And then here's the work interest profile versus me. So you can see how you match up with this job. Skills, values, work conditions. That's super important because if you didn't realize that public speaking was going to be part of your job and you hate public speaking, you might want to consider working on your public speaking skills and getting more comfortable standing in front of people. So that way you're comfortable at your job. And then education requirements, that's important. Here's some potential areas of study at Johns Hopkins University. So that's pretty great. So film and media studies, that's what I am. And then other majors. Outlook. So these will tell you a little bit more about the industry. So you can see how the occupation is growing, what the average earnings are, opportunities for advancement, and then some professional associations that can help you learn more about these jobs and find some of these jobs. So I might go home later tonight and explore some of these myself. So this is definitely important to read through because even though you might get a match on here, you still might find something within this and you're like, oh, okay, I didn't know about that. I need to explore that more. But it gives you a really in-depth look, which is pretty great. So we talked about some majors that line up with some of the jobs that were a fit for me. But let's say you aren't sure what your major is going to be. Well, we have this great feature here. What can I do with a major in ... So you can click on this. And here we have our majors. So let's click on, do you guys see any that you want to click on? Okay, yeah, archaeology. That's that, right? I can't, all right. It's hard to read from this vantage point. Okay, so here's some options. We have an anthropologist, and that gives you the national median salary. Anthropology and archaeology professor, archaeologist, museum curator, museum technicians and conservators. Did I pronounce that correctly? And paleontologist. So those are just some of the options. And again, you can do exactly what we just did and click on those and read all about them. Wow, so this is my work interest profile. I'm not so much an investigator, and you kind of need to be an investigator. But it was still one I matched with because I do pretty well on some of the other ones. And I'm not at all conventional. I feel like this kind of eliminates me from some jobs. That's okay. You can always look at jobs, that aren't a 100% match. And you might find that it's more of a match than I thought, or Focus 2 thought. So then you can definitely explore any occupation, as I just said right there. You can explore by job family, can two occupations side to side. Oh, and then another helpful thing when you get to combine assessments that I forgot is, let's say you combine these two. You can make a nice PDF right here that you can print out and have, and maybe you create a PDF for all the different Focus 2 assessments that you've done throughout the course of the year or your years here. And then you can see kind of how your interests have changed or your values have changed or how they stay the same. So that might be something that you might want to try down the road. Okay, so let's go back to this PowerPoint here. I've been talking at you guys a lot. I promise we're all going to get a chance to share something in a little bit. So we already went through those. Oh yeah, okay. So based on what we've been talking about so far, can any of you identify, take a couple minutes, think about it. Maybe look, if you've already done Focus 2, look at that and identify 3 to 5 occupations of interest, and maybe we can go around the room and talk about it. Obviously, I already said acting as one of mine, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw in another one. I would like to be an editor of literature. So that's one of my occupations of interest. Does anyone wanna get the ball rolling and share another one? Yes. Awesome. And do you think that aligns with some of your values and work interests?
Yeah, I mean, one of the, not the personality one, but the work interest assessment. When it's making your code and like social investigative or whatever, one of my things was social because like helping people, and I guess, and teaching has always been a way that I have teach also.
Yeah, that's great. Who else wants to share? I shared one. Yeah. Okay, that's great. So that aligns with your work interests and values and skills and things like that. Great. Anyone else? Anyone thinking of some majors that they're gonna try to explore? Come on, guys. I shared mine.
My dream for career is on here as a travel writer. So
Yeah.
move on many years. Higher education, I'll write for National Geographic.
And I will read what you write for National Geographic. All right, no one else wants to share? All right, I'll get you interacting later on. So, gaining experience. So here's a bunch of different ways where you can actually get in the field that you're interested in and see if it matches up with what you found on Focus 2 and through other assessments. So this is huge. And I have my own personal story with an internship. I interned at a place that I thought I was going to be super excited and enjoy the work. And I ended up leaving that internship after 2 weeks because I realized this is not what I wanted. It was, the work that they were doing was great and I was super for it, but I just realized this is not me. I don't belong in this environment, and that's totally fine. And the more experience you can get, the sooner you'll realize like what you do, what work environments you enjoy and what you don't. And I'm very glad I had that experience. So I learned that about myself, and it was great. I mean, even though I left after 2 weeks because it wasn't great, it was great. And it just wasn't great for me. I had another friend who got an internship there in a similar capacity. He loved it. It was perfect for him. He stayed on. He still works with them in a light capacity. So it's great, but it shows you that every single person is individual, and you really want to make sure that what you're doing is a good fit for you. So you can get an internship. You can volunteer at a company that, or an organization that does similar things to what you're thinking about. You can work part-time, job shadow, join professional organizations. Networking is huge. Talking to people about what they do, about their experiences. Networking really is a way you can find all of these opportunities as well. I love networking. I love networking. It's very important. Talk to me about networking. You know, that's a whole nother foundational lab. I'm not doing that one, but maybe I'll ask if I can because I love networking. Joining student organizations. There are so many on campus, and I know this is probably something that you've like heard over and over again, but like getting involved in anything is a great way to know if you're interested in it or not. And if you're in an organization that you love and you're like, this was just an extracurricular, but how do I make this my job? That's a really great question, and you should explore that. And then take on leadership positions. And that's a good way to see how you are with even more responsibility in an area that you're interested. So think about these, try to get as much experience as possible. Like I said, that if I hadn't had that internship, I might have been going in a completely different route, which might have ended up fine, but I might have landed in a similar position, then I would have been unsatisfied. Oh, there's more. Okay. Research with a professor. Yes, that's definitely an option, especially if you want to do research. Here's another example. I came here thinking I was going to do research biology. And then I worked in a lab, and I realized that a lab environment just didn't suit my personality. Obviously, I like to talk, and I enjoy talking to people. And that wasn't quite the space for collaborative work that I thought it might be. So that was a great experience for me, and I ultimately landed in film and media studies and international studies. Studying abroad, also a great option. Declaring a minor, trying to learn a little bit more about, I have a friend who, and I'm just full of examples now. I have a friend, hopefully that means you guys will share some of your own later on. I have a friend who added a psychology minor, and now she's doing research in a psychology lab over the summer and next year. So she totally just did it on a whim. She was like, I'm interested in this. And then she realized, I'm really interested in this. So it's a really great opportunity for her. Informational interviews. So you sit down, talk to professionals in the field, mock interviews, practicing for actual interviews for a job. Resume writing, come to the Career Center and drop in with the peer advisors. Attending job fairs, company events and panels, and then exploring your competencies and some of the things that we talked about earlier, and we're actually gonna explore in a little bit. All right, next steps. Is anyone feeling overwhelmed, or you guys feeling kind of good? Oh, you have a question, yes.
So what about for studying abroad? What can you take away from the experience that's more tangible, other than cultural experience?
So it depends on what you're doing when you're studying abroad, but it's also learning to work and thrive in a new environment. So that's going to be part of any new job that you do. Is it's going to be a new environment, and you're going to have to learn how to work in there. So even if you're studying abroad and it's not necessarily lining up with what you're looking to do, and let's say you don't want to work in that country, then it's still good to gain the experience of learning how to just transition into something new and get comfortable and work well. But then again, you might also want to work in another country, and studying abroad is a great way to learn how that country operates and what it would be like to work in that country. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? Okay, so you can identify professional organizations and associations. A way to do that is on Focus 2. When we went through the acting or the actress job profile, at the bottom it said professional organizations and associations. So you can go through those, look at those, see what they have to offer, research them, and you can do that straight through Focus 2. Connect with alumni and other professionals. So who here is on LinkedIn? Nice, nice. Okay, who here has been on Go Hop Online? All right, so Go Hop Online is our alumni version of LinkedIn. So basically you can go on, see alumni, what they're doing, and it's just for Hopkins students. So this is just Hopkins students and alumni. You can just go to Go Hop Online right now, even if you wanted to, and just you can register, and you'll be approved probably within a day, or if not tomorrow, over the weekend. They're pretty fast with turnover, and then you'll have access to all of these profiles of Hopkins alumni and your peers. So I'm on there. I actually had a mentorship through Go Hop Online. You can request a mentor and send them a nice professional email about why you're interested in what they're doing. Maybe request an informational interview. Can we sit down and I can talk to you more about your work, things like that. And I got a mentor, and she was very helpful, not just with telling me about her job, but also about things I should know going into interviews and like formal work settings and things like that. Talk with students majoring in your field of study. Absolutely. You should definitely talk to people that you're working with, even people that are in similar areas or not even anywhere in the area, because you can add as many people as possible to your network. And that's really great because they might give you ideas that you didn't think of, or they might have opportunities for you that you didn't know about. So definitely get your peers in your network early, and they will be able to help you as well, and you can help them. Read biographies of professors. biographies are a really great way to learn about a field of interest. And so, for example, I recently read a biography of an actor, and it gave really in-depth, it was a really in-depth look at the whole process of becoming an actor and this person's personal experience and kind of how it all operates. And I was like, wow. I mean, some of the stuff I've researched and I've seen, but some of it was new information and it was great. And if I hadn't read that biography, who knows when I would have learned it. Meet with professors. Yeah, talk to the people that are teaching you. Even if you don't want to be a professor, they undoubtedly know people in the industry and they'll be able to point you in the right direction, help you research more, things like that. So think about professors that you know, who you feel are in industries that you're interested in, and talk to them. Schedule a meeting, you know, don't just corner them after class and say, give me all the advice you have, but, you know. All right. So we talked about job shadowing, internships, informational interviews. So some places to seek out these opportunities, you can go to Handshake and search jobs and internships. And you can make informational interviews on Go Hop Online, job shadowing, you can talk to professors and people in labs and things like that. Attend career fairs, industry panels, so you can go on Handshake and look at all the different opportunities that we have for you guys. And really, the more you go to, the more you'll get a feel for what is out there. So check out Handshake. We're going to have more events coming up when the semester begins. See what you're interested in and attend. Again, we talked about volunteering or part-time jobs. Great way to gain experience. If I didn't have the job I have now, I wouldn't know that I was interested in management. And then learn about employers in a career field of interest. So we have employer profiles on Handshake. You can also see employer profiles on LinkedIn. You can Google you can just Google the employer. That's a great way to do it as well. All right, so some resources that are available to you. Academic advisors, business journals. Here's some stuff that we have on Handshake, Candid Career. And you can go to our resources section where you found Focus 2, you know, you clicked on career and then you clicked on resources. There's a bunch of different things and you'll be able to find Candid Career, which will tell you there's little informational videos about different jobs. So you can basically they're like short 2 to 3 minute videos. So you can just pick one a day and learn about an occupation that you are like want to learn more about. We have the Academy Guide. So who here knows what academy or academies they belong to? Oh, interesting. So we're going to take a brief segue here and talk about the career academies. There are 6 of them. Let's see if I can name them all. Arts, media, marketing, health sciences, STEM and innovation, finance, consulting, and I knew I was going to forget one. Oh, yes, nonprofit and government. Yes. Thank you. All right. Here we go. Good participation. Great. So you can find those on Handshake, and I'm going to show you guys. So you can all go to this now and choose your career academies. So basically what those are we split it up just so that we can target the different industries that our students are interested in. And we have different academy weeks. So we've got a few coming up this semester. We had some last semester, and those are specific weeks dedicated to an individual academy. So you can go to click on your name, career interests, and the more you fill this out, the more Handshake will give you, it'll just show you jobs and internships that fit what you filled out here. And you'll be able to like get more things that match what you're interested in. So if you should fill all this out first and then scroll down a little bit, and then which of the following career academies best match your career interests. So right now I just have arts, media, and marketing checked, but I can always check off nonprofit and government because I'm also an international studies major, and I feel that is encompassed by nonprofit and government. But as you see, they're all here, and you can also choose still deciding. You don't have to know right now, but this is something that you all should check out. And then once you're done choosing your career academy, definitely fill all of this out as well. because the more you do with this, the more Handshake will know what jobs and internships to show you. Not that you can't see all jobs and internships, but it just like suggests ones on the homepage that match your interests. So back to the PowerPoint. Okay, so we're not done. So I have another handout for you guys. And we're gonna start a discussion. So I want to take those, pass it down. I have another one up here. So on the first page, you're gonna see some competencies. So these are things that you need for every single job. You're going to need critical thinking and problem solving. A job isn't just going to be smooth sailing all the time. You're going to need to figure out how to get past some hurdles. What if you've been working on an assignment and your boss says, this is wrong, you need to make this look like that. So you're going to have to work on that, and you're going to have good time management skills, which is not on here, but actually. So you're gonna have oral and written communication skills, and you're gonna need that to get the job as well in your interview and your cover letter. So if you want to have your cover letter reviewed by a peer advisor, drop an hour start at the beginning of the process. Teamwork and collaboration. Even in jobs where you might have a solo assignment, you're never just gonna be working by yourself. You're going to need to interact with people, be able to collaborate with them on projects. So this is a skill to be gained now. Well, these are all skills to be gained now. You're going to need some level of digital technology, leadership, professionalism and work ethic, career management, and global and intercultural. So these are all things that we have it as a checklist here, so you can start checking off what you think you have now, and then identify some of the things that you want to work on. So let's say you're really good at teamwork and collaboration, and you want a leadership position now to gain some more leadership skills. So that's just something that we do here. And then, yes.
Really quick. So these competencies come from data collected by the National Association of Colleges and Employers. So this is data. These 8 skills were synthesized strictly from employer surveys. So these aren't things that like career professionals were like, these are things people need. These came straight from, I think they surveyed 5,000 companies of varying sizes, types, like all across industries, and resoundingly, these were the 8 skills that were synthesized. So these are overall competencies that employers are looking for you to have no matter what field you're going into, whether it's, to a startup company or a nonprofit or into a research career.
Yeah. Thank you. So the next slide is a self-assessment. So this is not something you have to work on right this minute, but if you want to start thinking about it, so you can list what you've already done as far as leadership and volunteer and community service, hobbies and interests, etc., all of these things, and then list your strengths, qualifications, areas of improvement, and see how they all connect, what you want to work on, what you can use to work on some certain skills. And then locations of interest, I think that's pretty important because you want to work somewhere where you feel comfortable, and I'm very excited to go out to LA. I enjoy that city. That's somewhere where I would like to work. So think about that as well. These are all definitely, and when you're searching your careers for jobs and internship on Handshake, you can definitely search by locations of interest. And they have there's lots of different filters on the side where you can go in and choose some of these things, and then also see how your skills and past positions kind of fit in with everything else that you've done. All right, so now we're going to start a little bit of a discussion. So these are all questions that there's just a bunch of questions on the rest of the slides, and I'm going to choose a couple, and I want us to talk about it and get each other thinking about, how coming up with answers for these. So How have your personal background and experiences influenced your career aspirations and choice of major? Who would like to go for this one? Yes.
So I grew up moving around a lot, and so I've been able to meet people from everywhere, and because of that, international studies appeals to me because you learn about all different places and how, especially in terms of diplomacy, how different people from different places work together for general common good. So, yeah.
That's awesome. Who's next? So you guys just all chose your majors at random. Yes.
My parents are immigrants all in college, and so they were pushing me into the math courses, and but I'm actually happy about it because I enjoy it a lot.
Great. So that's how you found your one of your passions. Great. Did you have one?
Both my parents are engineers, so like it was always like kind of like in there from me like maybe one become an engineer.
Great. Anyone else? Yeah.
Every single class slash like summer program or that involved programming that I was attending, I really enjoyed it. So that really influenced my choice of major.
All right, great. Yeah, I mean, I think we can all kind of see a common thread where, you know, there's definitely reasons why we chose the things that we did and why we're interested in the things that we are. And it also kind of shows that like experiences that you're gonna have here and in the future might also you might find new interests. So definitely keep yourself open to those. Now, I'm not saying you have to like change your job because you found a new interest, but it just is nice to you know, have that option for new hobbies, things like that. So I'll let you guys do the rest of these on your own. We'll move on to some more career exploration questions. So let's see, does anyone want to pick a question and then we can go around and answer it? Yes.
For the question, what's the one activity?
Yes. Okay. So what's the one activity you most love? Or what is one of the activities that you love the most? That might be easier to answer.
I love graphic art.
Okay,
Competitions.
great. So is it part of your career plan? And if not, can you make it? Or how can you make it part of your career plan? It doesn't have to be, but you know. Well, that might be something you want to explore with Focus too. Check out some of those jobs. Who else has one activity that they love a lot? Doesn't have to be most love. That's kind of hard if you have a lot of things that you're interested in, you know, but pick one. Yeah.
I like playing poker.
Okay.
I guess part of my career, then I can go into like finance and do something where there's some risk involved.
Yeah. That's a really interesting way to take it. I like that. Is that something you might explore? Awesome. Who's next? Okay. That's great. So it's already there. It's already in your career plan. Personally, I really enjoy writing. I always have. When I was in kindergarten, I folded some computer pages over and stapled them together, and I started writing in it and called it my book. I illustrated it myself too. Yeah. Actually, I'm not even sure I could write words at that point. It might have just been scribbles. But exactly, it's my book. So that's something that I really enjoy doing. And the way it's part of my career plan is the way I see it, I can write no matter what I do. I write right now. So doesn't necessarily have to be its own separate career, but whatever career path I choose, I can always spend my free time writing. Anyone else want to answer this one? I like this one. No? All right. We'll move on. I'll go to the next slide. Okay, who wants to pick a question from this slide? Someone who didn't pick from the last slide. Anybody have a question that jumps out to you? I can pick it, but it might just be more fun if you guys choose. Okay. If no, oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess what accomplishment are you most proud of?
Okay, yeah, go for it.
I guess I'm most proud of being
Yeah, that's a good one. I'm definitely proud of that. Yeah. Who else has an accomplishment that they're most proud of? Or just an accomplishment you're very proud of? I'm also proud of getting into Johns Hopkins. I'm also very proud of my work at the Career Center and creating the Peer Advisor program. That's something very near and dear to my heart. Yeah.
On some of my classes where I've had to do creative writing, I always feel especially when I finish a paper and I feel like it's interesting, but also, you know, good. I don't know whether that's just because I've finished my work, so I can do something else, but yeah, those are accomplishments.
Okay. Yeah, that's great. Anyone else? Yeah. Yeah, that's a good one. I like that. Yeah. Good for you. Yeah. So does anyone want to answer, if no obstacles stood in the way of your achieving it, what would you most like to attain in your career?
What would you most like to do or get out of it?
The question is like pretty much what you want to get out of it, but if you just want to say what career you would do if you had no obstacles, that's also, mine would be acting. So I'm gonna go for it, obstacles and all. Yeah.
Okay, so if there were no obstacles and I could do literally anything, it'd probably be like, so something I like to do is watching movies, and usually they're movies about like changes in society and stuff like that, just because you get to understand people a little better. So if someone could pay me to do that, that would be awesome.
Okay. That is excellent. Well, there's such things as like film reviewers for film festivals. That might be something you want to look into in different categories, like Sundance, documentary category or something like that. Might be something you want to look into. Yeah.
If there were no obstacles, no I want to be like the CEO of Brainstorm.
Excellent. Nice.
Maybe, like, founding it with my friends.
That sounds really cool. I like that. Anyone else? We only have a couple minutes left, or like one minute left. So I think we have. Yeah.
No obstacles,
Except for the rocks.
except for that.
Yeah. How many more do we have? Okay. So we don't quite have time to answer each of these questions ourselves, but here's some research questions that I definitely want you to be thinking about moving forward. Number one, who is in your network? Hint, a lot of people are in your network. So this is friends, family, friends, friends of your friends, family of your friends. And that's just in your friends and family. Then we have professors and other students that you know in class, and your boss and your coworkers, and someone you are sitting next to on a plane and you strike up a conversation. I mean, I would be careful doing that because some people might not like it if you're talking to them on a plane. But that's an option. You don't know. I mean, I've heard stories of someone, sitting next to someone on a plane, they're like, man, I really want this job. And then they happen to introduce themselves to the person they're sitting next to, and they're like, yeah, so I am the owner of a company that I hire people for that job. Just saying. Lots of people are in your network is what I'm trying to get at. And you don't really know who it might be, but you want to think about, start being a little bit proactive and go into situations thinking about, you know, who in here like might present an opportunity for me? Who could I get to know and like learn information from? And then maybe give them some information as well, because it's a two-way street. You don't want to go into it and be like, tell me everything you can and then just split. So make sure you're very nice about it. Yes.
So in terms of making your network, where's the line between, so for example, I know other people mentioned this, but if your parents work in the field that you're interested in, then like to what extent do you form networks with the people they know? When do you branch out to just, you know, doing it yourself? Is there like a line you don't cross? Because I don't know, I've always been unsure about that, whereas my mom's like, oh, there's this person that you can do, and there's this person.
Well, I think like, you know, you hear the word nepotism and that might be a little bit scary. But if your mom is saying, hey, there's someone you can talk to, the onus is still on you to have that conversation and to get something out of that conversation. And you're not just going in there and asking for a job and be like, hey, that's my mom, give me a job. You know, you can definitely talk to your parents and say, listen, I'm interested in learning more about where you work and the people you work with. Is there anyone who you think might be interested in talking to me? And then you could get another perspective and find out opportunities. That's totally fine. All right, so look through these questions, and then there's some decision-making questions, and basically all the things you need to ask before you make a final decision. It's a little bit scary to look at, but not a problem. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. This, as we said in the beginning, this is an ongoing exploration. It always continues, no matter what stage you are in your career. So this is the skills matrix, and the stars are the ones that you want to pay attention to. So the skills you have and wish to use, and the skills that you do not have but wish to develop. So that's especially important when you're looking at the job opportunities and you see what skills they want. Look at the ones that you have, and then look at the ones that you don't have and say, okay, how can I develop those skills? So that is that. I know, I'm sorry we went a little bit over. Does anyone have any questions? Yes.
When is the networking?
You can find out that information on Handshake. Yeah, in the events section. I don't know it off the top of my head. Anyone else? You guys can leave whenever you want, but if you want to stick around and ask a couple questions, you're more than welcome to. Thank you for coming.